Welcome to another episode of Omni Athlete. You're here because, like us, you believe that sport is a vehicle for elevating global consciousness. But you know that elevating consciousness through sport only matters if it actually helps you to compete at your highest level. We created this show to empower your performance with the wisdom and techniques of the world's highest achieving mind, body, and spirit competitors. Okay, so today's guest is an author, coach, and former NASA researcher committed to helping athletes rediscover their passion for life and who they can become through sport. He holds a PhD in atmospheric physics and a degree in sports science. And as a high performance mental trainer, he has worked with Olympians and elite athletes in major sports, including swimming, UFC, BMX, squash, golf, and tennis. He is on a mission to bridge science and spirituality. To that end, he's authored books on topics like entering the zone in sport and deciphering the wisdom of spiritual masters. As an expert in visual training and sport anticipation, he has presented his work across the globe, including the prestigious Australian Open Tennis Coaches Conference. It's my pleasure to introduce to Omni Athlete, Dr. Damien Lafont. Welcome to the show, Damien.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. There are so many places we could start, and you've written two books recently, right? One on getting into the zone for athletes, and then one on a topic that some people may think is disconnected, but I see so deeply interwoven, which is spirituality and the wisdom of spiritual teachers. So, what was the biggest connection you saw between, or that you see between, sport and spirituality?
Yeah, in fact, it's the topic. They look a little bit different, but when you spend time with elite athlete or spiritual teacher, masters, or in fact, you realize they talk about the same thing. Of course, they use different words, they have different backgrounds, but what they describe, their experience, how they get ready to access this different state of consciousness. In fact, it is the same thing, and which is good because depending of where you come from and what you like, your preference, you can choose your path. You can also you can get inspired by different type of people. So in fact, yeah, and so I started to study this zone, this different state of consciousness in sport, and because I like music, I like other field. After I started to turn toward arts, performance art, musician, and I really realized it's really it's the same thing with different words.
So, whether it's art, musicians, sport, spiritual masters, one of the topics that you've written about quite a bit, and I saw woven into both of your books, was this notion of love. And it's an interesting place to start because your research has been so wide. You've studied some topics that are absolutely fascinating, but the one that comes screaming up right now is love. And I would, no pun intended, I would love to know, how does love show up for athletes that want to get in the zone?
It's interesting. You bring you go to the core of of the problem, which is not a problem, but in fact, often we do, and we spend a lot of time, and I did, and doing a lot of different things to reach at the end to come back to what you just said, and because in the Western society we are brought, like, we are taught that a lot of knowledge, lot of stuff will help you to get smarter, to get better, and to do better. But at the end, it's always point toward simplicity and the core values of life, like love, kindness, like to be present, to care about others, to very very simple values, which you don't have to think twice. You don't have to have a PhD about it. It's the right thing, and of course, no matter what you do, what's your field, if you are an athlete or researcher or whatever, when you do what you do with love, like loving what you do, and also love for like to put more meaning in what you are doing, because it goes together to put this meaning into your action, what you want to do. That's where your life starts to take another turn. And of course, if you are an athlete, a junior athlete, and you have this deep passion for something, you will enter this flow, this zone, like way easier than if you are distracted, if it's not really your stuff, or if you do that but you prefer to do other thing. Yeah. So in fact, it comes back to be present, to really enjoy the present moment. And like if you think about it, like since you are a child, when you love what you do, when you do something like for love or something, like time is different. You feel better. You are not tired. You are more focused. You don't think too much. So in fact, often as a coach or as a teacher, or you like we in fact we just try to teach that to drop a lot of things. So for people, they find this state again, and they have this deep fire inside, and they allow themselves to express it and to let it touch other people. And in fact, after it's, I know you know that too, but all the martial art and the Zen teaching and stuff, it's just a lot about dropping stuff, dropping what you don't need to be present, and to allow like the energy to flow, and to touch other people, to have to let people touch you too. And so it's that's it's a extended love. It's not just love for you to feel good. It's to love what's happening now, and the depth of the moment.
It's a bigger definition of love is what I hear, right? It's not, it maybe just love in the way that so many of us use it, but as athletes, we can connect, and as coaches too, we can help our athletes to connect to a much bigger meaning for love.
Yeah. It's that's it. It's to bring more meaning, and some people they realize maybe it's not their stuff. They should because there is something wrong. They don't feel. They question everything. They feel there is a barrier to, and maybe they should do something else. There are many things to do, and sometimes we think we little bit narrow, and we have to let we have to open a little bit more. And so you can train for that. For example, all the mindfulness current now, it's again it's not from yesterday. It's a training of attention. So you can at the same time you can focus on the present and be present, but also you can be open to a wider, broader experience. And it's again Zen, martial art, a lot again. The teaching is to train the attention. So you have this open, some people call open focus, whatever you call it. We, like with my wife, we do a lot of training like this. We call that all focus, like WHOLE, because it's to really make people understand that you can at the same time have this broad attention, open to everything, this energy, the world, and you can focus on the. You can be focused 100% on your task, because in fact, what's interesting, neuroscience now they show us that both in your brain. Both pathways they exist at the same time. So it's not you are focused and it's not the one or the other. You can have this full like awareness, and now it's good because science shows us why it works, and the wisdom of ancient teachings. They tell us what to do to to get there, to have this broad awareness. So yeah, it's an interesting time where science really meets spirituality, but spirituality not in, of course, not in terms of religion and stuff. Spiritually in terms of the wisdom of to do the right thing, to the right teaching, and to take time to do the right thing, so you can drop what you don't need.
I love that phrase, Damien. So you can drop what you don't need. There's, it seems like as athletes, and I'm sure you've both seen this and researched it too. So like seen it as a coach, I'm sure, and as a performer and as a researcher, it does feel like we carry a lot of baggage. And sometimes it's physical baggage, right? Sometimes it's mental baggage, and sometimes it's emotional or spiritual baggage. And the idea that developing our spiritual body is more about tuning into that wisdom, as you said, to drop what we don't need, that feels so energizing, because we do carry baggage that we don't necessarily need to perform better.
Yeah, yes. Well, yeah, it's a lot of baggage, and our education, like the system, and there is a lot of learning and of course we have our cortex. We need to this new part of the modern man. Like, of course, we have a very elaborate like thinking and thought process and all this stuff. So it's good to use it, and it's a good thing. But also we have the older part of the brain, which deal with emotion and all the subconscious part of our actions. And the thing is, sometimes the Western world is like, well, you just focus on your thinking, and after there are some teaching. It's no, don't thinking is bad. So focus on your body, your subconscious. In fact, the thing is, you can use both. And but as you said, there are a lot of barriers, and these barriers, they are often it's just a lot of stories you make up in your mind about what you can do, what people told you can do or not, or it's really your vision of your perception of your world, and your construction of your perspective of your perception, and it comes from your childhood, your experiences, and all this stuff. And but the thing is, when I'm working with athletes, often they all have stories about, I can't do this, this happened, this coach did that, I had this. And the thing is, first, if you are aware of what you don't want and what you want to, like, we help them to focus on what they want. After, no matter what happened before, if you start to learn how to be more present and to focus on, like, what do you want to create? What do you want to feel? What sort of world you want to live in? What do you want to create for yourself and for others? You can start to work on it, no matter what happened. Of course, sometimes the what you carry, sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it wasn't your fault, sometimes whatever. But if you have the deep desire to change and to start to build something new for you and for others, you can do it. And the thing is, you can do it, and you are not alone to do that. You will meet people. You will, when you start to make the energy move better, and to have this flow between people, between you and people, and what's going on, you start to things start to happen. It's not just a story of like synchronicity and stuff. It's really like, and people you interview, they pretty much, they all know this. When they start to do what they love again, when you know it's deep inside, and often when there is a greater picture, things happen. And in fact, it looks sometimes like, well, it's strange, and people sometimes they pay attention or not. But the more you pay attention, and the more you make things happen. So there are many stories about that. Like James Redfield book, The Celestine Prophecy is famous for this. And but in sport, for example, there are thousands of stories. Mike Murphy in his books about like In the Zone, like there are many stories about. Like in fact, it's more about. Of course, when you start to be open to the universe, the energy, you let things flowing better, and it starts to work better for you and for other people too. So it's again, it connects love, it connects this energy and this awareness of what's happening in your world, and to understand you are not driven like a boat like on the ocean with no no captain. You have a certain power to direct what you want to do, and this power, it's your mind, it's the power of your attention, and that's why the old teachings, all the masters, the teachers, often the number one thing they teach you to have more discipline for your mind, where you put your attention, and because your attention, you send some energy, so you need to train yourself to not waste your energy and to direct your energy where you want to, and this energy, it's you said first thing, it's love, it's whatever, like infinite intelligence, love, consciousness, whatever people they like to call this, and it's always you remove what you don't need, you tap into this infinite intelligence, love, consciousness, and after things start to happen. But you need to direct, because you are at the same time, you are there is no barrier between you and everything else, but you are also in command of where you put your attention, where you put your energy.
You know what's really interesting, and what feels really energizing as I listen to you is, so when we talk about peak performance, more often than not, we talk about peak performance as it relates to me as an individual athlete, or as it relates to me as a coach individually trying to help my team. And what I hear in your voice that it's just really energizing. You keep using the word others. And that's so powerful, because there is an energy to the people around us. There's an energy to the community we're part of, the team, and just recognizing that it doesn't always have to be about my performance, about growing individually, and it can also be about growing as a group, as a team, as a community. I hear that word, and it's got a lot of power when you use it.
Yeah, it's a good. But you ask exactly the right stuff. It's because, and it's important because so I'm a tennis player, tennis coach. I'm crazy about tennis, and tennis is kind of very individual sport, and people they carry on. And I did that. I was young. It's a lot about themselves, and everything push you towards yourself. People are watching you, and it's also so a lot of sport. There is this me, mm-hmm. and there is this stage where a lot of people, even if they they say no, but they like the attention and all this stuff. And there is nothing bad about that, but there is some limitation to this approach, and of course you can be a great athlete, great artist, performer, whatever. And often many athletes they do that to show they can do it because people they say they couldn't. So there is a revenge. There is to show the world you are worth and you can do things. And sometimes the next stage it's people after they struggle, they want to take their career to the next stage, and sometimes they don't understand, and they just keep looking toward their own stuff. Well, maybe I don't do that right. Maybe I should change my coach. Maybe my diet. I should stop to eat pasta. And in fact, and some people, they understand that better. It's not really about themselves, and again, it's where they put their attention. And at one point, you need to understand that, as you said, there are people around you. There is a greater picture. The energy doesn't stop at your body. The energy is flowing constantly between you and people, between you and nature, between you and the universe. There is no barrier. And so your first part of your training, a lot, it was to for example, you have a short with mind, with body. It's to discipline your mind. So after your body can let the energy flow, and you can tap into this energy, so you can perform better. You can and because of that, because you feel free, your mind is kind of free to reach another state of consciousness. But after there is another level, it's when you forget a little bit about yourself. And in fact, you do that a lot when you are a kid. You have kids, so you know when they are playing in their world, when they pretend to be someone else or something else. I'm an animal or whatever. I'm a cat or something. They actually are playing. They are a cat. They are a dog. So in fact, there is this ability, very young, of selflessness, to forget about yourself, and to tap into this energy. And so people in doing team sport, like team sport or team whatever, team research, business, they understand that when the team, they start to work together, there is something they forget about their own interest, their own concern and worries and stuff, and they are working. There is this team chemistry. There is this team sync where things start to happen because they are in this next stage where there is a greater picture, and your body, your mind, they work for something greater. And sometimes it happened by accident. For example, if people's life, if there is someone like a disease, accident, instantly you don't think about yourself, and you could do amazing things. You forget to eat. You have amazing energy. You don't sleep, and in fact you didn't think of all this stuff. You just do things because you are part. You let yourself immersed in something greater than yourself, and so the good news is you can also, so you can wait for something to happen to create this selflessness state, but also you can train for it. And again, I'm talking a lot about Zen, and but again, the Zen teaching, and even like in Buddhism, a lot of mindfulness training, and the Tibetan meditation, like it's a lot about to drop yourself as in a way, the little self. Even it takes lot of space and time in your life, and to access the greater picture. And so you can train people. The old teachings, they show that since long time. Now again, science, they show you that in your brain you have two different pathways. One self-centered about your life, even like with your body, like what you feel when you do certain things, everything close to you, everything you can reach. So it's your little space. So there is one pathway in your brain, and we develop this one a lot. And there is another one using different neurons and different connection. It is the other centered like group of neurons, and So and again, it's not the one is not bad and the other are better. They exist. You can make them work together a little bit better. And what we realize with science is when you use more the other center, like the other network, in fact, that's where you have the biggest effect on your well-being, your time spent in flow, your creativity, how fast you learn, your relationship and stuff. And if you see, it's interesting because if you see all the self-development, coaching and stuff, it's self-development, like self-development. So it's a lot about self, the little one. And in fact, it's a limitation, in fact, because you think the problem is about you, and if you just take time again, if you put your attention more on, it's not only to help people, to help your neighbor to cross the street and all this stuff. It's also how much time you spend to put your attention toward others, even if they are present or not. They don't have to be in the same room. How much time you spend to direct your intention to your family, to someone who needs your attention, who needs your love. So how much time you spend to do that? And now we can record, we can like your brainwave, your heart variability. And as soon as you start to do that, everything in your body start to get in sync. Your heart, your brain, your oxygen level, everything starts to work better. In fact, just because you reconnect with this big energy. So and I think because since like 10 years, there is a lot about like it's really the selfie world and stuff, but it's a balance, and now it's like a lot of selfish and selfie activities. And I believe there will be a rebalance. It's going to, and you see more and more people more involved in others, and of course, like since forever, you have a lot of people doing things for others, giving time, charity, intention, whatever. But now it's maybe because science is showing that. It's actually working. So because people they need the evidence. So now you have another group of people, because science said it works, they are going to enter the trend. But I think it's going to grow and grow and grow again. And a lot of people you interview, they talk about this. They talk about the greater picture.
So what comes to mind for me, Damien, is where do you start with a young athlete that you're working with if you want to begin exposing them to the power they have to connect to this universal energy, to this unconditional love, to this consciousness, to this greater intelligence? Where do you start when you have an athlete that you can tell is ready for that step?
Yeah, good. Yes, good question. No, anyway, it's good because the thing is, I can answer well to this one question because I did really bad as a young coach at the beginning, because I came with all this, you say, all this baggage of knowledge. I'm a researcher, I'm this sports scientist, and all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give the best technique of this and that. And in fact, you realize. So first, people there is a diversity. People they are very diverse and they have different background, different awareness. So you cannot. There is no general answer of this stuff. But the thing is, you can't really. You can really bring very complex technique and even like the sports psychology brought some good stuff, but you can't really. It will be good to help them to focus their mind and to get the discipline of doing things. So to do their homework, they have to do their visualizations, they have to do this, but often after a few months, years, you can tell there is something missing, and this something missing is they are not aware of their power, of the huge energy they can manifest. They have no idea of the power of their mind because nobody taught them. Like when you finish school, when you graduate high school, and nobody really told you that you have a huge power on yourself and a huge impact on other people. Not only a concept, abstract concept. You impact people physiologically with your energy, with your thoughts, your intention, and because it's not. Since you are a kid, if nobody told you, when the coach is telling you, hey, you are amazing, you have infinite. Ouais, okay, Damien, you are very positive coach, very enthusiastic, but they don't really believe it, quoi. And so it's why they need to do things. After, of course, all the coaches they say, well, you need to take action to change, to learn, and all this stuff. And but you need to do things. And the first thing you need to do, there are two things, and we use that in our training with Natalie, my partner. Like the first thing you need to do, it's really to relearn, to learn to breathe properly, to do deep breathing, and also to change your attention. So like where do you like to be aware, where do you put your attention? And after you need to, again, your short mind with body, you need to reconnect mind and body. And how do you do that? It's your breathing. It's to relearn to get into this rhythm of life, this rhythm that will get your mind, like heart and mind in sync, like this synchronization of, and if you want to make your body and your mind like vibrating with the good vibes, you vibrate at the right frequency, and you start to reconnect, you start to feel better, and again, all the teaching, they teach people to breathe properly. Alors, of course, it's to help them to focus. Again, there is when you learn mindfulness, like counting on your breath and all this stuff, it's really to learn to focus your attention. But it's deeper than this. It's also to get into the right frequency that makes your heart and your mind working better. So you can reconnect with this energy, and in fact, the first thing. And people, they come to me, they're like, well, my kid need mental training, and he's not good. He has a mental problem. And in fact, the first thing we do, we teach them to move better, we teach them to do deep breathing, to relax, to be aware where they put their attention. And we teach them, one of maybe the most important, it's really to open their attention, to teach them this all focus when they start to develop this awareness. And because when you do that, instantly you get from the self-centered to other-centered. Other-centered is like other things too. Like if you focus on space in general, you start to drop all the stories, and you start to access a different level of consciousness. And again, science shows that when you change your attention, instantly your brainwave drop into a relaxed mode. You start to relax instantly when you focus on space, and space between here and the road, space between now and tomorrow, space inside within you. So it's a vast definition of space. So we teach that. So the first thing, we teach them to change their attention, to have this all focus, and this deep breathing that reconnect you to your true nature. To yes, you have a mind, yes, you have a body, and you have a mind with body, and you can make them together, work together better. And it won't come from more knowledge, more technique to learn and stuff. You know, you can. The first thing you did in your life, it was to breathe. Like when you just born, first thing you are breathing to get into the rhythm, and you never lost this rhythm. So it's just a little bit chaotic, quoi. Like your rhythm is a little bit off, but you can come back pretty quick to a very good frequency.
So I want everybody to listen really closely to what Damien just said, because what's incredible, right, is when we open our awareness, or as like literally as you just said, if we just change where we are focused from an object, a thing out there, to space, this empty space around us, whether it's the people and the space or whether it's just this emptiness, we're literally changing how our brain is producing, right? The brain waves we're producing are different. That is so powerful to recognize as an athlete, that my attention literally correlates to what my brain is doing. So it's not, there's this idea of integration. And I know you've written about this too, that one of the challenges that we go through as athletes is we separate different parts of our experience, right? Sometimes we separate mind, body, and spirit. Sometimes we separate what we're seeing from what our brain is doing. Sometimes we separate these different pieces. And it seems like a consistent theme that you found is that getting back to wholeness is a really powerful path.
Yeah, yes, exactly. In fact, I think it's the most powerful path. Like, it's not even very important, or I think it's the most, because it just, in fact, people, they put different words into it. You just access to consciousness, to God, to infinite energy, whatever you call it. You just you take a next step, and you are able to reconnect with the rhythm of life, the energy of life, everything. And yes, like if you see the elite athletes since 10, 15 years, there is more people aware of this, and they use that. At the beginning, it was in secret. They do that. One coach thinks he has the secret of the universe, but he didn't realize the Tibetan monks, they did that since 3,000 years, but it's okay. But now they start to meet. The Dalai Lama is meeting the neuroscientist from Harvard, and they say, oh yeah, it works well. And after a coach in NFL, he's inviting the guy to talk to his guys. And so now the chemistry starts to take a very, very nice, it's very exciting. So I like this time. I'm happy to be to be involved in this time. But it's really I think the most important. And you can feel. Now, what's good now? We can record, we can monitor all this stuff. It's not only your brain. I would say before your brain, in fact, because it's your heart first. Like many people, they did amazing job, like the HeartMath Institute, like to monitor they call that the heart coherence, and how much you have good vibes, and you are in the right, you create the right frequency for your body and also for other people. But I think what drives this your heart, and because after your brain is following and is following this vibration, what really drives that, it's your attention. And your attention, it's not just your eyes, because I can focus my attention. Like if I close my eyes, I can focus my attention on my mom or on my daughter. So it's more. It's really your thoughts, your intention. It's to connect with something deeper. And yeah, when we teach people, it's really to teach them this. Okay, you have this. You can use that better, because in fact you never use it. You are just driven by like other forces, other energy, and so that's very important. And some elite athletes, they start to do that, and some people they come to this through like I don't know, Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts. They do yoga. Like you see, for example, in tennis, Novak Djokovic, he did some yoga, a lot of breathing, and it was a good path for him. Other people, they will do that through different practice. And but at the end, it's always the same thing. It's the discipline to change your attention and to be aware of something greater, and breathing like this rhythm, to go back to a different rhythm, like the rhythm that connects you with other people and other energy.
So what was the turning point for you that allowed you to say, I need to develop a stronger connection to my awareness? What was it that made you say, this is the path?
I know the turning point. Well, it started because as a young tennis player, I experienced like a kind of zone moment where like everything was working perfectly. And so at the beginning, it didn't really work very well because I tried to recreate this moment, and I was young. I didn't know much about like what to do to experience this again. So, but the good thing, I started with breathing practice, like the pranayama, the Indian way to again to reconnect your breathing with your body. And so I started with the right. I was lucky. I started with the right thing. But after I got lost in my research, in studying, in the selfish world of tennis. But but the turning point, I don't know. It's because maybe when I really I stopped doing research, like science, like the science, really deep computer science research, and I really focus on all the mind, and to help athletes to find this zone too. And there was always something missing. And sometimes I didn't dare to talk about what we are talking about today, because I was like, well, they don't know. They think it's weird. There is still there is sometimes it's kind of a delicate conversation, especially it depends where, because obviously I'm French, but in France still it's like even what I'm saying now, people they would like, oh my god, it's a guru. He's he's going to, I don't know, to hypnotize us or something. But in America, here in Australia, there is a culture, like it's more like 20, 30 years of people using some teaching, developing your awareness, trying to get into this different state of consciousness. So in fact, because I moved to America and I met more people ready to talk about this, I started to say, okay, well, let's go directly to the core of what could really help people to get into the flow, to get into the zone. And so I tried to put my attention on, okay, how do you develop awareness? How do you get into a better like a mind-body connection? How do you increase your impact with people? Like what type of impact? Is it only in your mind? Is it physiologic stuff? Like, so I try to really say, okay, what can you do to really touch to this consciousness? Because that's where I could feel, that's where the energy is. So just go direct and ask things, connect to people, like you, go to see people. And like it was like 10 years ago, I went to see Scott Ford, yeah, who kind of started the Sport Energy Consciousness group, and actually he did. So, and I went to meet him, and like, so because he's a tennis coach too, so he started from tennis, but I started to connect with more people, and after to interview, to work with other people, and after I start to grow, and so I felt it was the right thing to do, and life showed me it is the right direction, and now, yeah, science is pointing towards the same direction. So it's good because it will take more people in the in the movement.
There is growth happening in this space, right? And it's incredibly energizing. Damien, this has been absolutely incredible. Before I ask my final question, where can these guys go to connect with you online?
So online, also you can go to it's damienlafont.com.au,
Awesome.
and soon, so next year, we will have a website called Calm Happy High Achiever, and so it will be we'll put uh, different resources about what we talk about today, like attention training, like to raise consciousness through sport, through spiritual and science, so we'll do some interviews too, like a little bit like what you do,
Awesome.
To talk with people about this place where science and spirituality meet, and also how you can, as the name says it directly, how could you be more calm, happy, or achieve great things, not in a selfish way, but to achieve great things for others. So really, and people they have their different paths, different field, and so it will be it's a nice project, and so you can go like those two websites, damienlafont.com.au and calmhappyhighachiever.com, and but it's not ready yet. It will be it will be ready next year.
Awesome. So we call this show Omni Athlete because we want to understand what it takes to be the ultimate mind, body, and spirit competitor. So the final question, Damien, is what does being an Omni Athlete mean to you?
Being an Omni Athlete, it's I think it's to reconnect with your true nature, and to really to be present and to experience life like fully, like right in the moment, and I think to be conscious of your power, and yeah, to be conscious of your power, and to really reconnect with your true nature, and the true nature of everything else. So that's and if you are doing sport, if it's your thing, like that's where you are called omni athlete, I guess. But you have omni artist, omni researcher, and I think it's great. Like this omni athlete stuff, I really love what you do, because sport is a great vehicle to access this state, because your body is involved too. And sometimes when it's too much mind stuff, we forget, and your body is here to help you to get into this flow, this state of consciousness, and so, and sport is kind of uniting people too. So it's good.
David, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been energizing, and guys, go grab Damien's books and dive as deep into his world as you possibly can. And one of the things that you will learn as soon as you get into either one of Damien's books is just the wealth of research and knowledge that he has put into the work that he's produced to understand what is the zone, what are these different teachings, how do we access them as athletes, and how do I understand the subtleties, the differences, the nuances, and yet at the same time connect it all into one whole picture. That is something that will come flying out of both of his books as you read and digest just the sheer massive amount of research and work that he's put in. So go check out the work he's producing, stay connected, and until next time, thank you guys for watching this episode of Omni Athlete.
Thank you.
Damien, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I hope, because sometimes I get excited, so I hope it's not too.
No, I followed every, at least, in our conversation, I followed everything really smoothly, and I expect the listeners will too. So,
Yes, thank you. Well, you ask good. We go directly to love, big. Often it comes later, but because you brought the right stuff. Love, attention, like what can you do? Like it's funny because I wanted to say maybe I could talk about if you work with someone young, what can you do? And you ask and and truly because at the beginning, I was coming with all my workbook and stuff, and I was hopeless. And the kids are, and now they are like that, and I'm like, okay, just breathe, and that's what the great teachers they do, like the old guys they do too. It's it's really the basic stuff. So and the greatest what I learned the best, it's really the Zen teaching, like the simple stuff, but to do it, to do the simple stuff.
is what has been consistent, and I believe that you're saying and what you've come to experience is consistent with a lot of the people that we've spoken to on the show, is that you learn all these different things, you learn all this different research, this different knowledge, but ultimately it comes back to these really simple practices that you build discipline around, right? You build this real connection with, but and also those practices probably get easier the more knowledge you have, right? Because you start learning why they matter. And I mean, you were talking about, with how our brainwaves shift. Just knowing things like that gives you more power, right? Gives you more knowledge and more reason to say, this is why I need to stop and breathe, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but in fact, it's the balance is that's where it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. That's why it's difficult to teach people properly, because there is this balance of and in the Western world, people they ask for the why, like why it works before, and in China, in the Eastern world, they don't ask the teacher why. If they ask, they go away. The teacher is like. But you know that in Kung Fu and stuff, if you ask the teacher why you do that, like, bye bye. Here, especially the new generation, they ask why. And if you don't say anything, if you play I'm a Kung Fu master, and if you teach like that, it doesn't work, because they are not ready, they are not at this level. So you need to give a little bit of why, but not too much. And the problem, they drag you, the parents and the kid, they drag you in the more why, and sometimes you fall into their stuff, and you see, and they are back to their confusion and stuff, and you need to stay simple, and that's where, as you said, like it comes from experience to just deliver after what I say is just I just define a good teacher, but. I think because even it's more than just a good, because now there is so much science explaining everything, and often people they take for granted some explanation, and in fact, especially in neuroscience, because it's very sensational where we discover this, and they forget that often it's just a hypothesis, it's just one study with 5 people, and we just start to learn, but people they are very excited with it works like that. They want the explanation, and they don't leave room for okay, it's like that because this teacher he knows better, and they want to know everything. And there is this fear of they need to understand everything. If not, they can't start to do something.
Can't start and can't and it can't work, right? If
they stop themselves because they want to understand everything before starting doing. And the thing I did that a lot, so I can talk about that. For example, I started to do yoga, and I said, well, I need to do that better before. I need to, and at the end, you start and you give up or you don't do it, and you realize, in fact, the difference between elite guy and people, they do things or they don't. They don't do complicated stuff. It's not complex. It's not. They are not more talented. They just do. They do their relaxation. They do things, and again, that's what I said before. It's first you learn the discipline, and after you learn you can be more creative. It's like art and music. You learn the scale, and after if you want to do improvisation jazz, you can do it. But first you need to, except if you are like you have special talent. But well, that's the balance between knowledge and simplicity. Like it's interesting.
It is. It's an energizing tension to hold.
Ouais, exactly. But right, and sometimes because I come from a background with research, when I have this tendency, and my wife, she really she turned me off many times, because if you push me a little bit too much, I fall into the. I will explain you everything, and I know it's after some time I stop myself, and or sometimes I say, "Wait, Damien, you need to," and sometimes I do too much nothing. I just say nothing. I just like, yes, breathe. Stop. And no, you need to give some feedback too.
There is a definite learning process, right? This is
yeah.
I'm stoked. I think that turned out really well, and I think we're about 2 to 3 weeks behind on our publishing schedule. So I'll let you know as soon as the episode is live and can share it and publish it. Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's really awesome. I think it's really awesome. If you interview the people you interview, I listen to the interview. I didn't have time to listen to everybody. But every time, there is something I didn't know about certain stuff, and it's. And what I like again, because I did that with music and art. I hope I will finish this book next year. But same, it's really because people they have their different colors, different like things, and like me, for me it's more like tennis or I'm obsessed with attention and selflessness now. But some people they're obsessed with other. But at the end, they tell you this, and it's good because one of your interviews, there is one person somewhere, someone will say one word, and it will trigger something. Maybe what I said, it won't trigger anything, but maybe it will be the guy before. There is something, the way it will be, it will correspond to a similar experience, and like it will start something, and it's awesome. Like it's really like to raise consciousness through sport, through and that's a good way to. I think it's awesome, this stuff. It does more than what you do, Josh. Like truly, it looks because people say, well, they are focused on the zone, the flow and stuff, but because you just need a small amount of people to there is a critical mass. It's like nuclear stuff, and some people they study that, like Amit Goswami, he's a quantum physicist, and he talks that many times about there is the critical mass of people, and when you start to go, you can start to change consciousness of a bigger amount of people, and there is a cascade effect, and I really believe in this stuff. You don't need to change everybody. Some people they are not ready yet. It's not even a question of superior or no. Their path is to learn different stuff, but if we keep doing what we love the way we do it, it will spread by itself. But the energy you put in your interview, like even in your voice, Josh, we can feel you love your stuff, and it makes us opening and to talk. Even truly, I speak better English because you make me confident, and I can speak the truth inside. And doing this, it spread. It will spread. It will spread. Like you don't have to. You don't need to have 500,000 views on YouTube. Just the one you have, and after it will grow, and after it will touch the people it needs to be to touch. So it's really awesome.
Damien, that means a lot to me. Thank you. I'm humbled, man. It's a lot of fun for me. and it's good to know that energy that I have transmits, because that is by far, I mean, that's why I'm doing this, because I just love it so much. Like and I know it matters, and I know there, just as you said, one word can change somebody's life, right? And if it gets to the right ear, whether it's a coach or an athlete or somebody or a parent, it can make a difference. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah, and even better, like, because when you speak, because sometimes I do audio stuff, or in my car I listen. When I drive, I just listen stuff, so I don't waste my time. Like more knowledge, but anyway, because when you speak, you smile, and even if I don't see you, we can hear your smile, and I can guarantee you have an impact of people, because I can, and maybe nobody told you, because we can feel your smile when you speak, and even when I say it, I can have chills, because probably there is something true about that, and you can, and that's when I coach, when I like this morning I was dancing with my daughter, like when this stuff happen, you know that's okay, that's what it's about, and I study pretty much everything about the zone, like everything people write, say, or I don't sleep much, so and what you do, it resonates the right stuff, so it's awesome. So I'm really, I really appreciate, like, you invite me, and Scott tell me, well, you will, because I was like, oh, it's awesome, it's really nice.
Darian, I'm serious. Thank you, and thank you for being on the show. Wow, man. I've got to jump, and this has been. Thank you for your words. It means a lot. Like, that stuff hits me right in the heart, and I really honor and appreciate it. Thank you.
It's really what I think, yeah. And yeah, so, but after, I didn't, because a lot of stuff I discovered to finish, because after I have to go, but it's late for you too.
Oh yeah. it's all good. It is a little bit late, but I love doing this stuff. I'm you know,
because I didn't give credit, because I came with a lot of my baggage and science and stuff, and truly I was a little bit of arrogant scientist stuff, knowing everything. And you say, I bring lots of freedom. And when I came to Australia here, because my partner, we are not my wife. I said I call her my wife. It's my wife. And because here she had the same experience, she had the same philosophy in a way, but from direct experience. She didn't have a PhD. She didn't. But she started very early to coach people, first strength and conditioning, but very early to teach, like, mental training with elite athletes. So she has like 10, 15 years experience more.
Wow.
But she comes from very, like, deep spiritual background, and like, she just cut all the shit of my back, like everything. She was like what you talk about, like, and the drop what you don't need. It's hard if you don't have someone that helps you to do that. That's why you need a teacher.
You need teachers.
You need a good wife.
You need good partners. You need a good partner. You need good teachers.
You need a teacher, because and in a way, after you can you keep recording, so you need someone that kick your ass, tell you off and stuff, because very quick, especially if you study a lot, you work with amazing, you start to be into even if you don't want to, sometimes you're like, awesome and stuff, and you need someone to tell you, calm your farm, and like, you need to like to bring you back on the earth. But more than this, because she had a deep spiritual, like, experiences, like, about this attention stuff.
Yeah.
The name, like, all focus, it comes from her, and that's why, like, and she's doing the teaching of this, because she taught me, and this ability to connect and stuff, like, it's a huge, because she grew up in nature here in Australia, in the countryside, and this reconnection with nature, she has that very early. She has deep experience, deep like, amazing stuff about manifesting stuff. Like, the synchronicity is not just like if I tell the stories, people they say, well, the guy is he's just crazy. And but she don't really talk much. Sometimes I make her work with me, like we talk at the Australian Open together and stuff, but she absolutely hates being in front of the stuff. But the truth is, I learn when you say, well, what was the trigger point and stuff, it's her telling me off about all the stuff I don't need. And and after, maybe one day she will accept to be interviewed and stuff. Because
Yeah.
often she interview people, like we interview like amazing people for Your True Nature, like Mark Nipo, James Redfield, like Lama Suryadas, and she met all these. She met Yarwen Dyer, Louise, Deepak. Lama Suryadas, she spent all day with him and stuff. But and after she's annoying because with me, sometimes I do some good stuff, and she went, Damien, go to speak here, go. But in fact, she bring the material. She teach me what to do, not to do in terms of simple. And at the end, she doesn't want. She's like the like in politics. It's the wife driving the story, and the husband is the president of America. But not in this president, maybe.
It's and I know the power of having a partner like that, Damien. It changes everything.
It totally changed. Well, it's really totally changed my life. Not only because we have a daughter and stuff, no, but it was our experience of grounding and to know what's important and to make understand that all your knowledge, it's nice, it looks good. If you want to play the game in the society, you need the business card where Damien is a PhD. But the truth is that it doesn't really work like that. Like, and
it's about here, right? Like ultimately, that's where it is.
And the great teaching is that it comes from that. But maybe one day I will convince her you need to share, because what she truly, like all the teachers I've met, she's unbelievable in sport and stuff. What she did with people, she was doing like hypnotherapy, she was clinical. So all the subconscious, conscious stuff, she spent a lot of time doing this. But after it's consuming, so she stopped and she started her own publishing company. But yeah, she should share more what she's doing. But
well, so keep your calendar open, Damien. We have our next conference is going to be in July, and I don't know exactly what dates yet, but we should announce those pretty soon. So if you guys can make it, that would be absolutely incredible.
Because is it in California or in Denver?
It's going to be in California, very likely. I don't know yet whether it'll be Southern California or Northern California, but likely in California.
Okay. Well, we'll try because we have other people to meet in California, but next year it will be. I don't know if we can do it, but because Scott he keep inviting me and stuff, and it was easier because I was living in Long Beach and Pasadena during like five years, but it was easier to meet people. But we'll try to.
Keep it on your calendar, and if you do make a trip to Colorado or California, please let me know, and I'd love to connect in person.
It will be awesome to catch up. And also I want to meet with Scott because like I work a lot on attention and like what we talk about, but in fact because Scott Ford, like, what he found in 74, because people say, well, nice, so you can learn tennis, but even Scott, because I need to tell him some stuff, he doesn't even know what he found, because he found something about the attention and like it's unbelievable. And people, in tennis, they don't even use this stuff. It's the most powerful. After some people, they use it and they understand it's important. But through direct experience, it's what he found. It's the true pioneer of this zone stuff. And that's what I forgot to say during the interview. Well, it's because the main thing, and so maybe well, you can still put the stuff. Like one of the most important thing is in the usual coaching, people they train hard, they have their discipline, their new technique, they train their body hard, and after they start to do mental training to access their peak performance, this zone state. And there is this idea you need to work hard, and even in the old teaching, you need to work hard. And what Scott found is like this consciousness, this energy, this state where you can learn fast and access to this infinite. It's here always. It's always here for you. Always. You just need to open the door. And changing your attention is one of the best way to do it. And in tennis or in anything, like some people they use that naturally. But what he found is like you don't train to get into the zone. And Scott, he said that very early, in a genuine way. And that's what I do now. And you teach people that I said before to be aware of their power. You teach them to be back to the flow, the zone, to be in touch with the zone, so they can perform at their best, they can learn better, they can be more creative. And recently, Google, with their dojo stuff, like their mind, and like all the high performance team, like Red Bull high performance, since like 3-4 years, they're like, we put people in the flow so they will be more creative and stuff. Right. And in fact, Scott, that's what he said since 1974. So he put people in the flow so you can learn tennis faster. Yeah. So because it's tennis and a guy, a CEO guy, he will never buy the tennis in the zone because maybe he doesn't like tennis. But the concept and what he brought, it was to reverse the old teaching of you trainer to get in peak performance. No. Get into this peak state, and after you will learn 1,000 times faster.
It is revolutionary. And Damien, I actually have to go. My wife, believe it or not, is waiting for me, so I have to go as well. No, it's great. These kind of conversations I can have and let them go on and on. So this is absolutely incredible. I'll let you know as soon as the episode is ready and we can share it. No, thank you again, Damien.
Well, thank you for your time. I know it's late, so I appreciate you push your time. And so I apologize with your wife. I take your time.
You rock, David. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Hey, what is up, guys? Thank you for watching another episode of Omni Athlete. Please go like and subscribe to our podcast. That is our goal right now, is just to build this community as big as we possibly can, and we need your help to do it. So like and subscribe, share our content, guys. If this content adds any value to your world, that helps you perform, connect, go deeper, go wider, whatever it is that it does for you, if it provides value, all we ask is that you share our content and help grow this community. We can't accomplish our goal of elevating global consciousness through sport without you. You are an integral part of this mission and this purpose, and we need your help. So please go like, subscribe, and share our content, and continue to help us build and grow this community that is truly motivated to not just elevate consciousness, but elevate and shift the very culture of sport so that we can truly experience the athletic experience in a brand new and energizing way for so many people, guys. So thank you, and please like and subscribe. Until next time.